Hi, everybody. My name is Margarita Marengo. I am part of the RPA world, and I have been in automation or intelligent automation for the last 4 years approximately. And what I do is I am the controller. So I oversee the control room for Blue Prism, which is the tool I use on a daily basis. I do have to say, again, I don't like programming, so I do the documentation piece and then I hand it over and then I pick it back up when it's nice and done. And then I make sure that everything runs and that the people are actually helped as I want it to. I think automation is a great field for people to get in these days because it is very, very broad. It doesn't really matter what it is you like, what the area is you like, what department you work in, where do you want to go to in the future, or where you are at now. For intelligent automation, you can basically find something everywhere to do or to work on, whether it's medical, whether it's HR, whether it's engineering, whether it's in a plant, in customer service, in account receivable, in a store, in a restaurant. I mean, you name it, you can adapt intelligent automation to basically everywhere and anywhere where there is a process that is very, very routine and very rule-based. So your options of moving from one department to another, from one area to another, growing are immense because everywhere there are routine and rule-based processes that you can automate. I got into automation kind of like by fortune or destiny or whichever way you want to call it. So my background is information systems and information technology, which is what I have my bachelor's degree on. And when I started working, I realized that I did not like to program and do very, very technical things. So I kind of like moved on to dealing more with people, whether it was training, whether it was other types of stuff like that. So at some point at work, I started being part of the process optimization team. And when automation was created or started, that it was kind of like tackled or was the twin of optimization. So since I was already in optimization, they kind of like pulled me into automation, which was right up my alley. And I've always liked computers. I've always liked robots. I've always liked to help people. And this was like the perfect fit for me because I like to deal with people. I like to help people. And I like the IS part of it. So that all came together where now I sit with people and I ask them, tell me about what you do every day, all the things that you basically hate because it's routine, like you don't have to think about those, and let me help you by automating those things for you. If you don't have an IS background, it does not really matter or affect much. If you want to move into the automation field or the RPA field, you can pull from any skill that you might already have, any knowledge that you already have, experiences, because this is such a broad topic and such a broad, like I said earlier, it does not really matter what area, it doesn't matter what type of company, nothing. Anything and everything can fall into the automation category. So if you are good with building things, then that type of mentality we can use to build the robots. If you're good in looking at a problem and then trying to figure out different ways to solve it or different point of views, different entrances to the same area, that is thinking and logical thinking, maybe I should say, that will definitely help you in automation. If you find yourself in an interview and are asked for an example of what you currently do so that it applies to automation, I would say think of all the times that you ran into a problem that you needed to solve, that somebody reached out to you and said, here, please help me with this, or you know what, this is a new project, you're leading it. Think of those times, no matter what the size of the problem, of the project, of the process was that you were leading or working on. At some point, you probably had to identify all the pain points, identify the bottlenecks, identify where the issues were, identify where there were roadblocks, whatever the case might have been. And probably you broke that down and then tackled those areas separately. Because as we all know, if you have a huge ball of yarn, you can't undo things, right? You have to start pulling it apart, and where there's a knot, you deal with that one, and then you continue. So the same is with everything else we do on a daily basis, although we might not consciously be doing that. So because you have done that in the past, I know everybody has done that in one way or another, you can transfer that and talk about those examples when you're, for example, in an interview. I have had the fortune throughout my life to live in different countries, and with that get to know different customs and different type of people and different ways people do things. And I have found that when I have been open to learning new customs, learning about new ways, learning about people and their experiences, it has made me richer, and it has helped me a lot for automation. When you talk different languages, the way you put a sentence together is not always in the same way. Sometimes the verb comes first, sometimes the verb is in the middle of the sentence, sometimes all the way at the end. But at the end of the day, it's the same sentence. So if you know those languages and you hear that same sentence in a different language, they're telling you the same thing. That has very, very much helped me for automation, because it has given me the option of looking at a process, looking at a project, looking at a problem in different ways, and maybe a lot more ways than I would have had I not had this experience, or had I not wanted to absorb and be open to other people's experiences. Every day, everywhere, there's things to learn. And if you are open to learn those things, they will help you greatly when you least expect it, because each one of those things is like a tool that you add to your toolbox.